You're welcome. Do you want the whole dictionary? Okay.
She just starts speaking Valerian to the cat.
I mean, he already doesn't know regular commands.
But she would commit to that on the day she's quitting the show. Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
This is So I'm Watching House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 4.
A Dance of Dragons. Finally, I guess.
Yeah, I hate how frequently I feel like I'm in this position. I don't know what energy I'm gonna bring to this.
Sad.
I'm bummed.
Yeah.
It was fine. There was stuff that I really liked, and there's just, I don't know what continuing this show looks like.
Okay, so we're jumping to the end. This is spoilers.
Well, it was like 40 minutes of talking and then 20 minutes of like really cool but also
devastating,
just devastating dragon battle. Because it's the times. Mm-hmm. And because the dragons,
they are unprecedented.
Well, and it's what I want from the show. Like,
I want the dragon fights,
and this is one of the coolest, most realized, fullest medieval or dragon battles I've seen committed to screen. But with that comes like oh no, he died. Yeah. Like it comes the dragons. I obviously get that they are weapons. They are weapons of mass destruction, but they also, I feel like, are precious. It's like they represent natural resources.
Well, there are a finite number of them, basically. And this, I mean, we've known this since Game of Thrones. This is the war that wipes out all the dragons.
I knew that going in, but I didn't realize, I didn't think about it, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, especially in this time, in this day and age, there's something about watching precious, valuable, innocent, natural, like innocent in the sense that they're nature.
Yeah.
Like they follow the laws of nature.
Destroy each other.
And it doesn't feel good.
Just sad and gross.
It doesn't feel good. And I don't, spoiler show, obviously. I don't know what my enjoyment of this show is like without Rhaenys.
Eve Best really brought something to it, and I'm gonna say this because you were like, I'm not sure if that's really the way, and maybe it's not the way that they intended it for it to go or for it to feel, but I can't help looking at this episode and seeing Rhaenys go down to the ship and see the man who saved Corlys, and then putting together, unbeknownst to us as the audience for a season and a half, that he is Corlys's bastard, putting that in the same episode where she chooses a suicide mission. I don't love the optics of that. And, I don't know if that's explored more in the book, or if that is what they were going for, or if it's not what they were going for, but those two things connected in my mind, and I hate that.
I mean, I absolutely don't think it's cause and effect. I didn't get that at all. I think it's more of sort of, reckoning with her life, her reality, her past, the many what could have been, because she's the queen that never was.
Yeah. And I also fully see that Rhaenys
this was a blaze of glory.
It was. It was super a blaze of glory.
Going back to that initial point that I made, watching her and Meleys sort of, free fall back onto the castle and smash it, when you're dealing with something that massive... And there were just a handful of shots of the armies on the ground as the dragons were flying, fighting, crashing, all that.
And then Vhagar was just walking and stepping on them.
So what is your criticism? You think it's
I think it's sort of
indignified I think it's
petty? a little not undignified maybe, and not even petty, but I think I think the writing is weak in a way that makes her seem
bitter,
also weak, and just sort of
and it's if we know one thing,
she's not weak. And so that's the one thing that I'll give is to be completely fair, she is the only reasonable choice for Rhaenyra to send, because she can't send her son because that's her heir.
What was his
he copped a fucking attitude halfway through.
Is it the usual, like, coming of age? Like, he's scared and
I don't think it's so much
feels
that.
intimidated, so he's trying to overcompensate?
No, I think
Jace?
he's legit mad at her because she disappeared for however long without saying anything.
She was doing something.
Well, she didn't tell anybody anything. So I get that aspect of it. What bothers me is doing it in front of the fucking small council. Can you not wait?
No, I mean, that's par for the course. They line up to share grievances with her
like
in
Parliament.
in front of everybody.
No, but that was just sort of, so I, like, again, kind of get it, but I was like, maybe check your tone with the queen, please.
Your mother?
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. The Rhaenys thing is just sort of, and again, it's cool. She's basically the only choice for Rhaenyra to send, which is smart, because she can't go herself. She can't send Jace, and she shouldn't send Baela, because her dragon's even smaller, I think, than Meleys. So again, it makes sense. It just also, like, having it, if we had found that out about Alan when we first met Alan, no notes. Perfect. But the fact that they put them in the same episode together is what gave me the ick.
I'm like, so what? So, I mean, are we implying that he was unfaithful to her, but she wasn't to him, and so now she's emotionally compromised? Like,
that's the thing. What? Exactly. I'm like, why did you?
Because I almost just sort of was like, that was weird, so I just almost rejected it. I did that thing where I was like, I'm not going to ignore that until it's necessary again, because I don't see why this is here.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
So I don't know.
It doesn't fit with my fantasy. We were talking a little bit on Saturday, and you know, we are comparing this to Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And that is, in my opinion, fair and unfair. But Game of Thrones, for me, worked best when it was in balance, when it had this quality, this both highbrow and lowbrow quality, where it was perfectly blended. And I think the writing was wartime. It was war. Characters died, like, famously, tragedy happened. But the writing was clever. There was always, I said it several times, that it had a way of surprising you with the single most obvious conclusion. And I don't get that at all from this show. This show does play out for me like a textbook. Sure. It plays out like it's like you're watching something stuck in time and you want to interfere, but you can't.
Yeah.
You're just sort of cursed to watch it unfold.
Yeah.
And it sort of, because I compared Emma and Olivia, the things that work are sort of counterintuitive to the success of the show. Because I said it was sort of like Lana Priya and Jennifer Morrison. Yeah. It's sort of like Regina and Emma on Once Upon a Time, where they lucked into the chemistry between these two actresses.
Yeah.
But they can't follow the logical story writing conclusion because it's against the entire premise of the thesis of the show.
Yeah.
And so it's like it really makes for a frustrating viewing experience.
Yeah, because it's like, this is not the kind of thing that you can, like, pivot and decide, give them more scenes together.
They're going to join forces and unite the kingdom together.
Yeah, and it's like, you just simply can't.
If you're watching it as sort of like masturbatory medieval fantasy warfare, then it's good, borderline interesting. But as a character piece, it just leaves us kind of feeling frustrated and hollow.
Yeah.
And like I said, and in this episode with the dragons in particular, like, I felt bad.
Well, because we're down 2 dragons, basically, because I don't think Sunfire is getting up. He was, like, groaning, but I don't think he's still alive.
That's Aemon's.
Aegon's.
Yeah.
Aemond is on Vhagar.
Yeah.
Because Vhagar bit Meleys's head off, and then Meleys really wounded Sunfire, and then they fell into the woods. She also got a good hit in on Vhagar's chest too, though, so he might be less up to snuff for what his wings are already full of holes.
The character, like Aemon, I am super into Aemon, and I am fully invested in him. Period. I mean, I don't know what I expect or what I anticipate or where I think we're going to go from here.
He's very interesting. He's playing it very cool. And Ewan Mitchell is very appealing, just in general. And so I do I do also find him interesting, but he is verging into sociopath for me.
Well, sure, but I agree with your husband because he mentioned it a little bit out there where, because we thought he was dead for a second and it seems he might not be. We watched the preview.
Aegon, yeah.
We watched the preview for next week. And Will was like, your husband was like, I didn't like him, but it seemed like they were doing something with him.
Yeah.
Because you're right, he clearly has these sociopathic tendencies.
Oh, I was talking about Aemond. But
okay.
Aegon, it works. It works for both of them. So,
but they also find ways to keep him just measured enough that that he keeps us, the audience, on our toes.
Yeah.
And I wish I felt more personally invested in their rivalry. And specifically, I wish it was more rooted in their friendship and brotherhood.
Yeah, but they have not had an actual rivalry the whole time, so that does not work.
It's a little bit there.
Yeah. Well, I think Aemond wants more power, but at no point did I ever think he
and it's what we were
was willing to usurp his brother.
It's what we were meant to get from the brothel scene last week. And that scene happened, and I did get something from it, but it's like that is an incident along the way in a way that the show seems like it's meant to be. The show's almost treating it like a breaking point or an inciting incident.
Again, so to me that fits the Rhaenys argument, my Rhaenys argument as well, where it's like, you showed me one thing, not a pattern of behavior. And so for this to have somehow been her breaking point where she's willing to go on a suicide mission, similarly for getting teased in the brothel and then walking out full naked with your cock out in front of everybody with no shame at all to have been the breaking point where now you're willing to kill and usurp your brother.
Flipping off God.
It just doesn't hang together really, because in my mind that was like a kind of okay, fine, he got caught suckling the madam. He still walked out of there like a fucking boss. He got his back. And again, Aemond absolutely read him to filth at that small council meeting. To the understanding of at least the maester, but maybe everyone still learns High Valyrian?
That was so... Well, I imagine if you're close to the family, you're around it a lot, so I imagine you pick up stuff.
Know enough, yeah.
That I loved. That was... And it's more stuff like that I need. Yeah. It's more parts where you actually feel like the chemistry or the plot, there was an ignition.
Yeah.
In that, and it was exciting, and especially having Aegon just literally respond, I can have cheeseburger.
Okay, yes, because he basically was like, you don't do anything, you appoint these fucking morons to your Kingsguard.
You're tacky and I hate you.
You're tacky and I hate you. And then for him to, because it was like, I can make a war. So he doesn't even know his own language, which is the very funny part. But I will say,
I need more of that.
No, for sure. I do think Ewan Mitchell and Tom Glencarney have such fun chemistry too. Whenever they're in a scene together, it's very
Ewan, it was electric for us. It was very love at first sight. Tom, I feel like I was warming up to. And
I've come to enjoy him more. Yeah.
So there was some good comedy in this episode because I also liked the incompetent Kingsguard.
Yeah.
We did get through all of last week's episode without you mentioning Kristen's armor.
Okay. His armor is basically the same, but instead of wearing the hand of the king, it's like a disgusting, gaudy, again, tacky and I hate you, chain of hands around his neck.
It's thick. Like rope, like gold rope.
In the shape of hands. So and also, I'm pretty sure he shouldn't still be wearing the white cloak. He is no longer a Kingsguard. He is the hand of the king and now a general. And I'm really hoping that what's the Hightower, the brother, Gawain. I'm hoping he makes it through this. I'm hoping he deserves Kristen the killing blow at this point.
I would love for him to, from what I heard, people were a little, from what I gathered, people were a little perplexed by his presence last week. Because I guess he's insignificant in the source material.
Oh.
And so...
Freddie Fox has got to eat you guys!
But there's a part of me where I'm like, well, then do something. Go off book. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Just let me, as a viewer, I want to feel like my life is enriched.
Yeah.
And I don't. I feel like it's homework.
Sure.
That I can find things to think, that was enjoyable.
Yeah.
I could see how maybe my life is better for that. But it does feel like busy work. It feels like homework. And I do want to say when we were talking about Rhaenys, I also her suicide mission. I feel like
I think
how would she go?
It would not have been a suicide mission if Vhagar hadn't been there. She
You
would
think
have
in the moment it
she
turned
would
in,
have
okay.
handily won if it was just Aegon and Sunfire.
Mhm.
But Aemond and Vhagar were waiting in the woods per Kristen Cole, which I didn't realize why Aemond was missing from that second small council meeting until I was like, oh fuck, he's back there. So it would not have originally been a suicide mission because she also didn't even know that Sunfire was going to be there because Aegon went off half-cocked and drunk on wine after Alicent was like, you need to be quiet.
Be quiet, Tiffany!
Yeah. No, it was a very, like, sit still, look pretty, and, like, listen to the wiser people amongst you. And so she was just there to burn the army, basically. But then Sunfire arrived, and again, she still would have won that handily because I believe Sunfire is smaller than Meleys. But it was Vhagar, and then finally when she realized, that's when she was like...
She just has to know she's Rhaenyra's most valuable both soldier and politician.
Yeah.
Like,
but if she believes she took down the king, I think she would be willing to go for it.
She didn't.
Well, he is at least incapacitated, which is going to throw the Greens into turmoil for a while at least.
What in the ever-loving is Daemon's story? He's like...
He's being haunted?
Yeah, he's in the haunted mansion. I had a brain glitch last week, and I obviously recognized Millie Alcock, but I had forgotten she was Rhaenyra.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gross. That is gross, that's how he sees Rhaenyra in his head.
I'm not sure it's that. I think...
I'm starting to think this guy might be a creep, is all I'm saying.
He's a little bit of a creep. I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's more that that's sort of like the last time she was uncorrupted in any way.
That's a way to put it.
I don't mean sexually.
I know, and I agree, but it's like he thinks of her like 'cause that's the her that looked up to him, that thought he was cool.
I do think that's part of it. I also do think he has regrets about not insisting on being with her harder than he tried to be. Like I think he regrets not like taking her up on the offer and like because then she had to it was very rushed when she married Laenor. So I think it's all mixed up with like a lot of stuff, and obviously he's her uncle too, so that's kind of gross as well. But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like I still see her as a child in my head. I don't think it's really that. And especially because the way she's like, this is just my life now, cleaning up your messes. Like, at least he's a little self-aware.
That even her and his head is dominating him. It's like, yeah. And,
we got some more from Alice.
Gail Rankin is slanking about.
Alice Rivers. So he's trying to basically corral the Riverlands to fight, so they can hold Harrenhal, because otherwise the Greens will have, like Rhaenyra has cut off the sea to King's Landing, but this way they'll cut off the land to Rhaenyra. And so he's trying to take a last stronghold, especially because Aemond has basically taken almost all of it, which is what the Rook's Nest part of it was. Trying to
where we were fighting.
Yeah, which is where they were trying to get the last piece in the chain. But yeah, so she gave him something to drink that made him really loopy and out of it the next day. I'm treating kind of everything that happens in Harrenhal as halfway a dream. So maybe none of that actually happened. Who knows? But yeah, what?
I can't think of it. The Friends reference when Joey goes on passwords and he has to guess something and he keeps saying it's the first word, the second word, and he keeps going, a ghost!
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted that soundbite, and I couldn't think of it in order to invoke it.
It's like...
A sheet.
It's like a sheet, a hat, a ghost, or something.
Ghost!
Yeah.
Because I think the word's milk, and so it's white, and he just starts...
Yeah, okay.
We did have Alicent had her morning after.
She's got that old-fashioned plan B.
A morning after.
She also had a really good talk with the Maester. I like him. I have noted him before, but I didn't check his name this time. He's fun. He seems like Maester Orwell. Yeah, Kurt Egewon. Yeah, that's him. I like him quite a lot, and so she basically was like, what do you think of Viserys' decisions? And he was like, I smell a trap. And he was like, we would have no way of knowing. Just like moonwalked out the door. But he's very discreet about her potion that she took, which is apparently not nice on the stomach. So like tell that maid to like be careful. And she was like, oh yes, I'll watch her very carefully. Please, you're killing me. And then Larys saw it and like, Larys. I'm not a fan. What else? Was there more? Alicent?
I don't think so. We talked about her talking to Aegon.
Yeah, which was a really fantastic scene. I liked that one as well quite a lot. And then he smashed that sugar glass flagon and stepped right on it. This says Mysaria was in this episode, but I don't think she really did anything though. She was just like looking. Well, okay, so that is Rhaenyra did say what she was doing, where she was like, I inherited 80 years of peace from my father. I had to make sure there was no way to like avoid war. And she was like, and now there's not. So yeah, let's do this. Yeah, they're out of money as well. The Lannisters or Tywin Lannister was like, we're basically out of money. Yeah, I mean the battle was very cool. I'm very sad that we don't get to see Eve Best anymore.
Yeah, I just feel,
especially because like, what else can Corlys go through? Now I feel like he's gonna be reckless.
I feel medium. We'll see. Yeah. We're probably gonna finish because that's what we do. We're halfway, but I'm sorry. We don't like being this, and we find ourselves in this position more than we would like to.
Yeah. We also did not...
It happens when you're covering things live, because you have no way of knowing
what's going to happen.
We're just like, well, this is something that, in theory, we're interested in, and it could get us, some coverage, or some, views, or some, get us out there, and then we end up having to be like...
Oh, no. There's also just, I can't... If Kristen Cole makes it to the end of this series...
He will. But now I'm even... But even that, even you saying that, I'm annoyed, because he's not even interesting enough to hate.
Yeah. I've said it multiple times when we've been talking about it. I don't even hate him like I hated Joffrey, because he's not even doing anything, he's not even, a little boy who is, a megalomaniac. He's just an idiot, man. Why would a man be here?
I'm biased, but I feel like Cersei was such a masterclass in a villain.
Yeah.
How she gradually...
Yeah.
And like I said, I like to watch Brad Evans do his reactions, and he is a very straightforward, earnest, innocent POV. That is where he comes from. And so he's at that point now in season 6 where he's like, I don't know. I don't like Cersei, but you gotta hand it to her. And I was like... You do
gotta hand it to her.
This is so, again, he's a fuckboy.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to turn the TV off and not keep watching Love Westeros style. I mean, smash cut to the credits.
Yeah. I just, everything I like about this show remains resting on now 3 people.
But even then, it's now that Alicent and Rhaenyra had that thing, I'm sort of like, okay.
Yeah, but they're still good enough individually that I'm very into it, and I love Matt Smith, and so I would follow him wherever. And then part of it is Ewan Mitchell as Aemond. So it's that's 4 people basically that's what I'm here for, and the rest of it is driving me nuts.
I do think it was a stroke of brilliance to have them sing Defying Gravity to each other from across the bay. And that really... I hope you're happy.
All right, that's it for me.
Bye.
Oh boy.